Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme tonight, the Supreme Court order or no order, the language of hate continues to define the political landscape ahead of elections in Karnataka. Tipu fans shouldn't be alive is a remark made by the BJP's Karnataka President. The Congress strongly objects. On the show tonight, the RSS Chief may say there should be no malice against those of another religion. The Prime Minister may speak about reaching out to Muslims. But on the ground in Karnataka, it's love jihad or Tipu versus Savarkar that's defining the agenda. Later on the show, a DMK leader in Tamil Nadu leads a mob to beat a soldier to death. There is outrage across the state. The police say that there was an argument between the soldier and the DMK councillor over washing clothes at a public tank. Is this the sort of respect that our political parties show our soldiers? That's up second on the show. We'll also be speaking to the brother of the soldier who was killed. But let's just first take a look at that hate in Karnataka ahead of the election over there. Comments extremely divisive made by the BJP's chief in the state.
ನಾವು ರಾಮ ಭಕ್ತರು, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರು, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಮಾಡೋರು, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಮಾಡೋರು. ನಾವು ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸಂತಾನದವರಲ್ಲ, ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸಂತಾನವನ್ನು ಮನೆ ಕಳಿಸೋರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಲಬುರ್ಗದ ಜನತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಆಂಜನೇಯನನ್ನು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಟಿಪ್ಪುವಿನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಟಿಪ್ಪುವಿನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಭಜನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವವರನ್ನ ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ತೀರೋ ಇಲ್ಲವೋ? ಸಂಕಲ್ಪವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸಂತಾನ ಬೇಕಾ, ರಾಮ ಭಕ್ತರ ಬೇಕಾ, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರ ಬೇಕಾ? ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸವಾಲಾಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಉಳಿಬಾರ್ದು, ರಾಮನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಹನುಮಂತರ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Joining us now, Naveen Chitradurga, the spokesperson of the BJP. We're also joined by Lavanya Balal of the Congress Party. Rohit Chakratirtha, the former head of the Textbook Revision Committee in Karnataka, joins us as well. Priya Chetty Rajgopal is a concerned citizen with us on this program. And Shehzada Mansoor Ali, Tipu Sultan's descendant, also joining us on the show. Naveen Chitradurga, let me come to you first. This is out and out hate. These are hate speech. This is hate language. Look at what the Supreme Court has had to say, that cases should be filed on hate speech without waiting for complaints. Why hasn't the state government done that?
Well, Vishnu, first of all, I would like to say that the speeches that has been shown on just now, which was made on made by our state president, or the speech of our one of the minister who spoke yesterday that you just mentioned earlier. See, basically, what our president was speaking to was our party meeting, our party karyakartas. And see, as a issue, BJP has always been against the Tipu Jayanti, the Tipu
No, but sir,
celebration.
respectfully, that doesn't answer my question. I'm asking, why has police action not been taken? On the basis of Supreme Court orders.
No, so the police case has to happen. Only if the speech that has been made is indiscriminating and hate-spreading the speech that has been made. And I don't think what our state president has said, spoken is
Tipu Sultan's followers shouldn't be alive. Tipu's descendants should be chased out. Is this acceptable language, sir? Is this not hate?
That is exactly that has been done by the Tipu Sultan and his followers. You please come and take us.
So their descendants should be chased out.
What has happened in Mysore?
Their descendants should be chased out.
What has happened in parts of Karnataka?
No, but sir,
Chitrurga, where Tipu Sultan specifically was the reason. His father was specifically the reason for the killing of the rulers of Chitrurga.
Still doesn't answer my question. But Shehzada Mansoor Ali is a descendant of Tipu Sultan. The BJP state president, Shehzada Saab, do we have him? Okay, we don't have him as yet. Let me go across to Lavanya Balal, spokesperson of the Congress. Is that explanation of the BJP good enough? That A, this was apparently being spoken in a restricted gathering, and B, this is exactly what Tipu once did. Somehow that justifies the remark that Tipu's descendants should be chased out.
Good evening. So, hate speech has no justification. And Tipu Sultan was some 300 years ago in the past history. Why are we talking about historical figures today? BJP should be talking about the past 4 years of its administration in Karnataka. And it should also be talking about what it is going to give people if it comes back to power in this election. Yesterday, we had our higher education minister, Mr. Ashwath Narayan, who said, Siddaramaiah, our former CM, should be brought down, should be killed, just like how Tipu Sultan was killed. And there is no police action till now. And Ashwath Narayan went on to justify that statement in Vidhan Sabha during the sessions today. You know, no other place on this world will, I think, a sitting minister get away by instigating violence against a former CM. He's the CLP right now in Karnataka, and this is what has happened. And look at Nalin Kateel. I mean, he's always known for his very silly speeches. He's my MP as well. Beginning of this year, he said, do not focus on infrastructure failures. You should focus on love jihad. What the BJP calls as love jihad is what Indian law, Indian constitution views as a special marriages act. As simple as that. Why are they?
No, but Mr. Chitradurga, again, the remarks made, against Mr. Siddaramaiah, there wasn't any out-and-out apology. It was like, if my remarks have hurt you, then I'm extremely sorry. But he doesn't take back the remarks themselves. It's sort of he seemed to justify it.
Vishnu, he never mentioned anything that he should be brought down, like a word, specifically to kind of physically hurt anybody. He was just mentioning it in the terms of the same way how Tipu Sultan was got out of the rule and how the people of Mysore got Tipu Sultan out. That is the same way we have to bring Siddaramaiah out of the political scenario. That's what he has meant. In no way
through violence.
Yeah, of course, he has not spoken about violence at all. You can go back to his speech. He's not said taking him out of the violence or take a violent role and go and, take up a violent way to bring him down or anything like that. See, I want to just ask, one thing, just the same way, the same speeches that, when they do in the Congress meetings. In fact, I have seen and I have got many video clippings where one of the ex-minister and currently Chamrajpet MLA, Zamir Ahmed, calls in an open meeting saying that these BJP and these RSS people are evils to the society, so we need to do what needs to be done to them. And these are the kind of statements that doing in a specific meeting where the minority people are sitting, majority of the people are minority voters. That is what they are saying. So why is this double standard of Congress coming and backing on saying that, oh, this is what you are saying? In fact, Congress is the one from the day one. They have done nothing but devising.
No, but 1 second, sir.
All
right, Lavanya wants to respond. Lavanya, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, if Zamir Ahmed has made a hate statement, BJP was in power for the last 4 years. The question is, why didn't the BJP take any action against Zamir Ahmed or any other leader for that matter who made a hate speech? If you had proof, so why are you sitting on the proof? I mean, BJP has multiple CDs. The whole world is aware of the CDs that the BJP leaders have. We are not talking about the CDs. We are all talking about the law and order situation in Karnataka. A former CM is threatened on a live speech, no matter how much you may say no. We all know Tipu Sultan met with a very horrible death. He died on the battlefield against the British, right? So you cannot say, oh, what Ashwath Narayan said was a peaceful thing.
It
was nothing peaceful about his death. So you are wishing violent death on our leader. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't interrupt while you're speaking. Please have some decorum. No, BJP people do not have any decorum. I'm aware of that. You will talk over me. I am aware of that. But all I'm saying is you are supporting a call for violence against the former CM of Karnataka. And you are doing that because you have nothing to speak of in terms of success.
Okay, we'll talk about the larger issue later on. Let's talk about these politics of hate and the language which is being used. Rohit Chakratirtha, does anything justify this language? You can be a fan of Tipu, you can disagree with everything, but does anything justify this language?
See, in Kannada, what Ashwath Narayana had told is Siddaramaiah avarannu kuda Tipu avara hage hodibeku. The word he has used is hodibeku, which literally means he has to be defeated or he has to be chased out or something like that. It is not. It is not this thing.
So the Congress interprets that word as meaning beat. He must be beat.
Yeah.
It means beat. Literal
The exact
translation of the word
meaning is
hodibeku
beat.
is beat.
Okay? So it can be meant as chased out, or it can be interpreted as a defeat. But it is not talking about killing or murdering anybody. Now let me.
But what about the remarks of the BJP state president?
See, let me give you some statements given by Siddaramaiah himself. Okay, he says Savarkar was inspired by Hitler's ideology. This is the direct translation of what he has told in Kannada. Then he says BJP guys have killed Mahatma Gandhi. He has used the word killed. Then he says BJP endorses Godse ideology. Then he says RSS Karyakartas have killed Gauri Lankesh. Then he says Sanatana Dharma instills fear in the minds of people. Then he says Hindu Dharma doesn't have space for equality and brotherhood. He says Gauri Lankesh.
No, but how are any of those hate remarks? See, you can disagree with us or some of them. Some of them, in fact, historically may not be even incorrect. But how is that a hate? How are those hate remarks?
See, if the statement like RSS Karyakartas have killed Gauri Lankesh is not a hate
That's an
remark,
allegation.
What is hate
That's an allegation. It's not a hate speech. A hate speech is when you're targeting a community.
Siddaramaiah, for his 5 years tenure, he has on
if that is factually incorrect, then that is an issue of defamation. It is not a hate speech.
He has given a number of statements.
No.
And he has given statements against Karyakartas, RSS Karyakartas, BJP people and everything. But Ashwath Narayan has used the word hodibek, which basically means...
All right. So look, she says it means beat and physically beat. But my question is on hate speech. Now, this is pure and simple. And since nobody seems to be listening to that, let me tell you once again what the Supreme Court has said. And let me remind all of you what the Prime Minister has said, what the RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat has also said. The Supreme Court in October 2022 has said, hate speech is a serious issue. Treat it as a criminal case, number one. File cases on hate speech without waiting for complaints. Has that been done? No. Act against those making hate speeches irrespective of religion. Has that been done? No. Constitution envisages a secular nation and fraternity among citizens. There cannot be fraternity unless communities are able to live in harmony. With language like this, can we live in harmony? Would you like to answer that? Mr. Chakratirtha?
See we should see the exact meaning of what he has told, right? See, Ashwath Narayan has used the word hodibek, which basically means...
No, I'm not talking about Ashwath Narayan only. Because I'm asking you about the language which is being used. It's been used by the BJP state president. Is that not divisive language?
See, I'm not saying... they should be using some language which is below the belt.
So that is my question. Finally, we've got an answer.
Must use some decorum. But what I'm saying is, Siddaramaiah has given 100 statements like this against BJP, against RSS, against India, against Savarkar, against all the major nationalist
sir, those are not
leaders.
remarks against India or Savarkar. A statement against Savarkar disagreeing with him is not the same as a hate speech. The moment you start talking about Tipu Sultan in the manner in which it is being done, it fuels a certain communal agenda. You are typecasting Tipu, and in a state where communal politics is a concern, it seems to further that agenda. That's what this discussion is about. You can disagree with me.
Siddaramaiah has projected himself as second Tipu Sultan. He started Tipu Jayanti in his tenure. And when in the first Tipu Jayanti...
What about BJP leaders who also supported and also enjoyed Tipu Jayanti? Shall we forget about them?
When Kuttappa was killed, when Kuttappa was murdered in the first Tipu Jayanti, what did Siddaramaiah say? He said that fellow was, he jumped over a concrete slab and he committed suicide.
Okay, one sec. Priya Chetty Rajgopal joins us at this stage. Priya, nobody seems to care. The Prime Minister has spoken about, the RSS chief has said that do not begrudge people of another faith their religion, right? The Prime Minister has spoken about an outreach to Muslims in this country, and yet in Karnataka this is happening. So that's all talk. It doesn't translate to action on the ground. Is that correct?
It doesn't. And, all I can say is while I'm listening to this conversation, I'm sorry, but who really cares? At this point, when this conversation is about a historical figure which will remain in history with an impact or whatever, where are the issues on the ground today where we're talking about infrastructure issues as far as the the state are concerned? Those are things that we need to hear about. I noticed that when we had this huge infrastructure breakdown a couple of months ago, especially in the rains, the conversation was around something called love jihad, which the average person is completely uninterested in, especially when they're falling into potholes or getting run over or stuck in traffic for 2-3 hours because of bad planning. So for me, as a citizen of the state, and a very, very beloved and very loyal citizen of the state, this kind of conversation is almost always an insult to our collective intelligence. It is almost always a confirmation that while we settle down in terms of how we're going to do our weightage and figure out who we're going to align with, we're going to send all these smoke screens up. So you're going to be very confused with what the conversation is really about. And that, if you ask me, I think is extremely disrespectful to the voting population, who is getting more and more aware and asking for more and more in terms of in manifestos, what are the focus areas, etc. And this is a non-issue. I am not decrying the fact that this figure is a very controversial one. There are a lot of divided inputs and opinions. I completely respect both sides of the opinions on this historical figure. But we have many such historical figures, and we still sort of manage in our own kind of way. We still have the Queen Victoria statue.
Okay.
So how does it matter? As a citizen, I'm asking the political parties who are here, who I deeply, I'm sure they have the best interest for the state, that in all this conversation, have you once talked in all these highfalutin, historical figures and who's going to kill whom, which I think is a very poor and bad taste. What do the citizens need? What is your duty as a politician? And what is it that you want to give us?
Okay. Shahzada Mansoor Ali, Tipu Sultan's descendant, joins us. Shahzada Saab, when you listen to comments like this, where remarks are made that all of those who are supporters of Tipu need to be sort of, if not the word targeted wasn't used, but you have to get rid of them, right? How would you respond? What do you see that as being part of?
It is now from years it is enough that political parties have started using the name of Tipu Sultan now and then. When BJP is not doing a performance for their own, they want to criticize Tipu Sultan, show his talent as Tipu Sultan, and wants to target and kill and throw away to them in the forest what Mr. BJP state president told, and Tipu's descendants and followers to be thrown away. It is really in manner saying those things. But being as a defendant, I will take a protection of our family also. I will take a protection of the followers and lovers of Tipu Sultan. When there is no subject of BJP doing this, and the Congress also has done nothing except Tipu Sultan Jayanti. It was one day's program what Mr. Siddaramaiah celebrated, and later on it has been easily one day's program being scratched outright. Then what is the use of the Tipu Sultan Jayanti when it was not even been gazetted? These people say on Tipu Sultan and take a special security, and when it was being told on Tipu Sultan from so many years, nobody answered. The Congress spokesperson today, they say that Siddaramaiah should be protected. What about the Tipu Sultan protection of the history? Who is looking into that history? Just they want to have a debate on Tipu Sultan, polarize Muslim votes, the Congress there, and divide the Netas, BJP. It is just playing around with Tipu Sultan. I say, kindly stop this, or else we have to step in for a legal action.
No, but one sec, Naveen Chitradurga, is it not a fact that Tipu Jayanti existed? I mean, it's existed for many years, and that the BJP has celebrated Tipu Sultan before 2015.
Every time, whenever they wanted to be celebrated.
One second, Shahzada Saab. Naveen Chitradurga, BJP spokesperson. The BJP celebrated Tipu Jayanti before 2015. What happened after that?
No, BJP never celebrated Tipu Jayanti. BJP is always against Tipu Jayanti.
That's not correct, sir. Factually not correct.
No,
there are pictures of Jagdish Shettar, Yediyurappa, R. Ashok and other BJP leaders celebrating Tipu Jayanti.
No, see, Vishnu, I want to correct you. Jagdish Shettar ji, Yediyurappa ji, on their personal capacities, they have attended programs where they have been felicitated. It is not that BJP has celebrated in its office or BJP has propagated Tipu Jayanti or anything like that. We were from the beginning were against having any Jayanti in the name of a mass killer who actually, I come from this place, Chittoor.
Okay, sir, in that case, why is it that way back in 2012, there was a book which was written by the Department of Kannada and Culture, right? In this book, there is a message from the Chief Minister who was then the BJP's Jagdish Shettar, right? The book was titled Tipu Sultan, a Crusader for Change. And the message written by Mr. Shettar is, the modern history of Karnataka covering the period 1782 to 1799 is known for the significant role played by Tipu Sultan, popularly known as the Tiger of the Mysore Kingdom. There are references to his concept of nation state, his idea of state entrepreneurship, his advanced military skill, his zeal for reforms, etc. make him a unique leader far ahead of his age. So from that comment to now, what has happened?
Now see, I'll tell you, the government, whatever the book that has been brought out in 2012, see, the whole history about Tipu Sultan has been skewed. I don't want to go to that. As a Chief Minister, probably whatever the minority department or whichever department that brought out the book, probably as a Chief Minister...
Sir, a Chief Minister is accountable for what he writes and signs.
So, that is what I am saying. So, in our state, the entire history about Tipu Sultan is skewed. Why not? What are the atrocities that has been caused by him or his army men during those
You
days?
just have to rewrite the history. You cannot rewrite the history. History will remain as it is. History will remain as it is. What Tipu Sultan has sacrificed his life, and he's protected the Hindus, he's protected the Hindu temples. When Shingeri Math was being destroyed by the Marathas, Tipu Sultan protected the temple.
What has happened in our
You have to accept the fact. That is the history. You cannot write the history of 5 years of history.
You find thousands of families or sufferers of the atrocities, the crimes that have been caused by Tipu Sultan.
You should survey that food goods were only 1,800 that time.
No, but Shahzada Saab, is it not true that that Kodavas and Catholics in Mangaluru were targeted by Tipu? They have, and and temples were destroyed as a result of Tipu as well.
Which temple was destroyed? We have 75 temples which Tipu Sultan contributed. Still, I go to that temples and I visit. I get a lot of respect to that temple. What Tipu Sultan donated lands to that temple. And in the question of killing Christians, Christians had only 7,000 Christians in South India. It was a Christianity startup when British entered India. Before British entering, there was no Christianity in Karnataka or South India. There was only one church which was named as Basilica Church, which was again made by Tipu Sultan in the Madras region.
Okay.
And Kodagus were only 1,800 according to the census report. I have captured gazetted copies which was done by Lewis Rice. You can't make a new history and bring things which have not been existing.
All right, Rohit.
What are the answers?
All right, 1 second, Shahzada Saab. Rohit Chakratirtha, the point is that why is this history now being discovered? Did we not have history before the last 5 years?
No, history was always there, and most of the things that have been talked about Tipu Sultan, most of these things have been driven from his own writings. He and his historians had documented how many people had been killed, how many temples had been destroyed, how many people had been, converted. Everything had been very clearly documented. And all these things that we are talking today, everything has been taken directly from the documents, historical documents. See, he converted lots of
1 second, Lavanya, hold on.
Yeah. He killed.
One sec. Shahzada Saab, 1 second. Please let Rohit speak. Go ahead, Rohit. Finish your point.
Yeah. See, he killed Kodavas in Devatparambu. He converted a lot of Nambudris in Kerala. He converted a lot of Christians in Mangaluru, and he also took a lot of Christians on walk to Srirangapatna and jailed them. He jailed Madhukari Nayaka and he poisoned him and killed him. He killed a lot of Nayaka community people in Chitradurga. So you take any community, any region in Karnataka, it has in one or other way it has been suffered by Tipu Sultan's atrocities.
Okay.
Now all these things have been well documented. His own historians have written things, and many of these things have been taken from his letters. He continuously he communicated with people in Kerala, in coastal Karnataka, and he even had written letters to outside India, particularly in Afghanistan. He had written one letter to one king, inviting him to invade India, and he had told that let us share the land.
Wasn't Tipu Sultan also one of the strongest anti-colonialists in this country? The BJP talks about fighting colonial forces which still exist. Was he not completely driven against the British?
He writes letter to French. He says, let us drive away these British and let us share this land. So if he is against one colonizers, and he is writing letter and seeking support from another colonizer. So what kind of this thing he is
okay, one second. Lavanya has been waiting. Go ahead, Lavanya.
First of all, the BJP spokespersons clearly are not referring to the manuscript written by the Pontiff of Sringeri Mutt, who talks about how Tipu Sultan has helped them after the Maratha rulers loot the Sringeri Mutt and they are in need of help, and how Tipu Sultan helps them. The question about destroying the temples comes from also, we would like to know how come those temples within the palace premises in Mysore stayed intact during Tipu Sultan's reign, if he was the one who was going around destroying temples. But then my bigger point is Vishnu Som here. Who are they seeking these reparations from? You know, when we are seeking reparations for the colonization of India from the British, there is a British monarchy and we can demand reparations from them. Now, Mr. Chakratirtha is very infamous for the kind of distortion that he tried to do with the Karnataka textbooks. I would like to ask him, so who are you seeking reparations from?
We have corrected the textbooks.
Whatever has happened 300 years ago.
All the historical facts have been manipulated by Siddharamaya's government.
Neither his ministers or anybody will not be able to give you reparations. So who are you seeking reparations from? Are you willing to target citizens of India who are viewed as equals under India's constitutional rights? Are you willing to target them because you seek power? Muslims, Christians, Jains, and all other minorities have equal amount of rights under the Constitution of India as Hindus do. So you want to target the minorities today because you want power in Karnataka? We should be talking about infrastructure, so infrastructure that is killing people in Bangalore. We have pothole deaths every other week in Bangalore. We should be talking about that, so we shouldn't be talking about a historical figure, a controversial historical figure who has been dead for last 300 years.
Let me ask that question. Let me ask that question to Naveen Chitradurga. In fact, it's my last question on this program. At a time when development really should be the focus, it is very much the focus of the BJP at the center. They talk about infrastructure and development on a daily basis. Why is that not an issue in a state like Karnataka, where development, where economic growth is so closely linked with the India story? Isn't that something that needs to be looked at and not love jihad and Tipu versus Savarkar?
See, Vishnu, BJP has always been for development. I would like to go back to the statement made on the rains and the potholes that bothered Bangalore city. In fact, our government put back all the roads which are ripped off because of this, the rainfall that we had not seen for 5 decades. So the Bangalore infrastructure is in fact growing, and the developmental activities are happening in all 4 directions of Bangalore. In fact, the suburban railway and all those big projects, mega projects which had never come to Bangalore in the last 10 years have been launched, and they're all on the pipeline and it's happening. And about this issue of, why these things keep coming up, it's in fact the Congress agenda, the Congress toolkit to actually instigate bringing these things, these kind of divisive politics, which they're, famously known for across the country. They want to somehow gather, they want to bring the scare among the minorities, showing that, BJP is a big threat for you, BJP is a big threat for you. In fact, which is not. If you go back and see last 3.5 years, we have not had even one, this communal fight happening in any place in Karnataka. In fact, wherever it's happened, even
if that's the case, why did you remove Tipu Sultan lessons? If that's the case, why did you remove the name of Bangalore-Mysore rail, which was running for 40 years?
Why should we have the name? Why should we have the name of
Why are you using
Why should we have the name of we don't want to keep the people, you know.
sentiments of Muslims and the second one?
No, but Mr. One sec. Let's not shout, everybody. Shahzada Saab, let's not shout.
Savarkar, definitely.
One second.
Rohit has done the right thing by correcting the
We can't hear anybody. Bring everybody's sound down. Everybody's sound down. I have one final question to Mr. Chitradurga. Sir, is it final now that in this election you will be talking about love jihad? As Mr. Kateel has said, he said that it is the rail issue, not the roads. Don't speak about minor issues like roads and sewage if you're worried about your children's future. If you want to stop love jihad, then you need the BJP. Is that what voters in Karnataka will be voting on? That's my question to you.
We are going to talk about rail, we are going to talk about road. In fact, our Mysore-Bangalore Expressway is getting inaugurated in a week's time. We are going to talk about developmental agenda. But wherever Congress is trying to divide and scare away the minority away from a party like BJP, definitely we want to bring them back and we want to show
And you'll talk about love jihad there.
That is what has happened. If you want to see what has happened on the ground, that is what has happened. The Congress is the one which does all these kind of nataks during the election. They are
How
the
many
ones
love
who
jihad
instigate.
cases, sir, have there been in Karnataka? Could you just give me a number?
There are many cases. I don't have the exact number to show you. Give it
Then
to you on
how come
record
the
now.
National Crime Records Bureau has no record of love jihad, sir?
Of course there is. If you come and see in Karnataka, if you give me some time, probably I'll pull it out and give you how many such issues have happened where the women have been harassed and women have gone to hardship because of this. People have married, giving
Well,
them
for
false
some reason, the
assurances.
National Crime Records Bureau doesn't have love jihad as a category, sir. Maybe that also needs to be revised, right?
Maybe according to you, it is not there in the rule book, but love jihad is there on the ground.
All right.
If you want to interview a few people who have gone through love jihad, maybe I can refer those names. You can actually bring them on the show and you can ask them what really is the love jihad.
Okay. Let's leave it over there. We aren't talking specifically about love jihad today, but perhaps we will in the run-up to the elections. Thank you all very much for being with us.